Hey everyone, welcome back to the District 3 podcast. My name is Irvin. This is episode, I think, 332. I'm here recording live on Emma Avenue, sipping my maybe third monster of the week. I failed at Lent. I really tried to give up Monster Energy drinks for 40 days. And I gave in like 2 weeks in. Sometimes you need something to like help you power through the day. And for me, it's a sugar-free Monster. And no, this is not an ad. It's just, I really enjoy sugar-free Monsters. I've told people before that if sugar-free Monsters were not bad for me, I probably would drink, that would be the only thing I drink besides water. Like I would not even have to drink alcohol. I just really like the taste. But I'm glad that today in this episode, I'm actually joined by a friend and someone who's been very active in the pro wrestling community here in Arkansas and now across the country. Joining us is Anna Ray. Anna, thank you for joining us on this podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. We have finally been able to sit down and just talk. It's been a lot of crazy scheduling with, the amount of community work you've been putting in and the amount of work I've been doing too. So I'm glad we have this opportunity to just sit and have a candid conversation. So let's go.
I almost had to cancel because my tax lady who's going to do my taxes today, she almost changed the time to this time. And I was like, can we do 3:30? And she's like, yeah, 3:30 is fine. I'm like, okay. But I almost had to cancel because I have to do my taxes. And I know that deadline's coming up, April. Have you done your taxes yet?
Don't know.
Is that one of your procrastinations that you've been?
Absolutely.
This is the first year that I am what do they call those? Like I employ myself kind of thing because of the work that I do. Because it's even though I work for an organization, the way that they have it formatted is that I get paid without like them taking out the taxes and the insurance money that I need for my medical insurance. So I have to do all that myself. So it's going to be the first time that I go in and have to do my taxes that way. So I'm kind of scared. I've already saved 30%. I've sent like 20% to federal. I've sent 10% to state. But I'm still worried that they're going to be like, you owe like $5,000.
I know. Always expect the worst because it may not be as bad. So it's good. Prepare for that disaster because taxes are awful.
Yeah, I also think that like I have that mentality sometimes too, where I'm like, I will think it's going to be way worse purposely so that the blow would feel like less whenever it does happen. Exactly. So pray for me, y'all. By the time you listen to this episode, I would have already gone through my breakdown if I have to pay a lot. But Anna, I'm glad you're here. Like you said, and like I said, it's been a long time coming. I've loved seeing you grow in the pro wrestling space here in Northwest Arkansas, and you getting to get in the ring with so many cool people, and just seeing your journey on social media, I think has been a very powerful thing to see. I didn't know you before you got involved into the pro wrestling space. That's kind of how I've gotten to know you throughout the past maybe 2 years, I think. Were you from this area, or did you move here from somewhere else? I don't even know, like, where'd you come from?
That's a great question. So I actually grew up in the Fort Smith area. So I graduated from Alma, just a small little town outside of Fort Smith, and kind of just stayed in that area. And then had heard about the opportunity to train for wrestling, which was pretty much just in Northwest Arkansas. And so, I just kind of made that drive for a little bit and then eventually moved up here last year. So
we love Alma and that little gas station that's right there by the highway. Like every time I'm especially when I'm trying to meet with my friend Jerry, who I'll be like, hey, let's meet at that Alma. When we're gonna go somewhere to like a wrestling show or something, and he's gonna leave his car somewhere, we'll be like, let's meet at Alma. I'll pick you up a little bit away from that gas station.
Absolutely, it's a good spot.
What, like, growing up? So you grew up in Alma then, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
Not
I was
great.
growing up, like, what do you do in Alma? And I'm not trying to dog on Alma, so if you're listening to this from Alma, I ain't trying to dog on Alma. I just don't know what you would do in Alma.
Well, you don't.
Okay. Just don't do anything?
We have a Walmart and a water park and some mom and pop shops. Like, it is a unique little town, but it wasn't my ideal town growing up. So, I mean, I did attend Van Buren, which is like its neighboring rival school district, up until about third grade, and then transferred in fourth grade and stayed there until graduation. There's really not a whole lot of heavy significance to the town. I think spinach was popular there at one point. There's like a Popeye statue downtown. Couldn't tell you exactly why. But it is my stomping grounds. So I don't remember the last time I actually have been there, to be completely honest with you. So
do you get, like, when you come out to wrestle, do you get booked from Alma?
I
Billed
do.
from Alma, I mean?
I do sometimes. I mean, wrestlers have a different call out depending on where they go. And so if I work like an Arkansas promotion, yeah, I'll say I'm from Alma just to show a little bit of representation for that community to honor the time I did have there. But, I at the same time, I don't really go back or contribute much to that society. So
I would hate whenever I would create a wrestler on WWE 2K, and you would try to pick a city from Arkansas, and there's only Little Rock. It's
or
like,
West Memphis. Those were the only two.
Don't they have Pine Bluff in there too? I think it was like
that's a choice.
it was like West Memphis. I know West Memphis for sure.
Yeah.
And then Little Rock, but like they would just completely ignore Northwest Arkansas or the River Valley.
Which is also kind of a choice. You would think that Bentonville or Fort Smith even would be on that map, but no, you had to always bill yourself from Little Rock.
West Memphis. I did Hollywood, California. I'm from California, so they didn't have Salinas, which is where I'm from, so I would just go with Hollywood, California, or San Jose, like Bailey. Yeah. Did you ever play those games, by the way? Did you ever play?
Absolutely. I mean,
you're a gamer. I forgot about that.
A little bit, yeah. So, I mean, SmackDown versus Raw 2006, 7, 8. Dude, my favorites. Those soundtracks were goated. And just like the actual playthrough was so fun. And you had so much creative liberty in it. And it was great. I love those games.
That 2008 soundtrack was my favorite. I ain't your
so
savior. I ain't your word. And then what was the other one? I forgot. They had like 3 or 4 different songs. The Money in the Bank song, Money in the Bank.
Yes.
I still have that in my workout playlist today. So at what point do you start wanting to, just watch pro wrestling just in general? Like, did you always watch pro wrestling as a kid, or where did that start?
It started about at the age of 4. It was just something we always had on on Monday nights. And so, I mean, I watched it up until about the age of 13. And then my dad remarried. And so there was some parenting happening where she was like, let's not watch that anymore. And honestly, that's kind of valid because looking at what the product was and as we were growing up, so I'd stopped watching it for a little bit and then rekindled my love of it in 2020 when Edge returned. And so that's whenever I started getting the gears turning again on, this was an ambition at one point. And, and 2020 wrestling wasn't the best, but it had me going down that rabbit hole of rewatching 2006 wrestling and catching up on what I missed out on that huge gap. So, yeah, 2020 did a lot of fun things, but it did reignite my love for wrestling.
I completely understand the whole reignite process because, I started in the Attitude Era. I think what drew me was The Undertaker. That's how I started getting involved. I remember the core memory still in my head of that not ad, but that promo where the Undertaker's on his throne and the camera is tilting around him and he's full on Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. And I remember seeing that on TV and I'm like, what is this? My sister was the fan, not me. And she was like, this is The Undertaker. You should watch this. And then, Stone Cold, The Rock. And I was such a diehard, especially for the 90s going into 2000, 2001. And then stopped watching for a while, got back into it because of CM Punk. So I was a big CM Punk fan, from ROH all the way to him, winning the World Heavyweight Championship. I remember I was 16 and I was working at a poultry factory here in Springdale. And sometimes during our break, you would be able to get out and people were watching WWE in the break room. So I went out that one day and it was when he cashed in the Money in the Bank. So he was my favorite wrestler. I was straight edge back then, and I was just such a big CM Punk fan. And then he left WWE. I stopped watching it. And then I came back when AEW started. And I've kind of been a little bit more consistent on the AEW side than the WWE side myself. I'm not sure where you land on that.
I watch good pro wrestling. So I spot watch any product out there because it's so hard because that's a ton of wrestling to consume. Yeah. That's AEW, WWE, TNA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and all of these really top indies. So I spot watch every single promotion. If someone's like, hey, watch this match or anything like that, it doesn't really matter which promotion it belongs to But I do tend to gravitate more towards the AEW side of things because I would love to work with a lot of the talent that's on there. And I feel like it's potentially attainable one of these days.
Yeah, I think so. Especially nowadays, if you put in the work, you have social media as a tool as well. You've been using social media a lot, to elevate your work and everything that you're doing. Is that something that you think about a lot? Like just the fact that you have to post, that you have to continue letting people know that you're doing this?
Yeah, I get post fatigue every single week because I mean, you have to think like no one's gonna, like be a bigger fan of you than you essentially. And so if you want to be a star, you kind of have to treat yourself like one. So yeah, you got to put your highlight reels out there. Put a lot of content out there, do a lot of modeling, a lot of promos, and advertise yourself as if you are a big deal. That was something that Richard Holiday kind of taught us whenever we did a seminar with him last year, is that social media is your ticket to grow, whether that be to get signed, get exposure, whatever your goal is. You have to be a big mark for yourself and put yourself over because no one is going to do it for you. So at the end of the day, yeah, I'll schedule to post something and I intentionally don't look at likes, don't look at views. I don't care. I don't want to know. It's embarrassing to me, but that's how I know like I will grow from it, is because once you do things that are uncomfortable, embarrassing, you're growing as a person. I'm still getting accustomed to social media, but I have to respect it is a very large part of independent wrestling. So yeah, it's uncomfy, but I'll do it.
I saw that Richard Holiday got a shout out from Matt Cardona at Cody Rhodes' podcast the other day.
Him and Ben Bishop too. I do think it's an anomaly that neither of those guys are signed yet. And it's an interesting industry in that regard, because you would think that their stature, their in-ring work, their character work, their promos, like they have the recipe for, a contract. But at the end of the day, it's wrestling. And so, yeah, absolutely. Like those two guys are people we definitely want to learn from. And I can say we have both of them coming in to Northwest Arkansas this calendar year with Razor Pro Wrestling. Just a heads up.
Hey, I think Richard Holiday specifically, when I look at him, I'm like, how is this guy not signed? Same thing you just said right now, right? And just his goal, his journey, that he's experienced in the past few years, overcoming cancer and coming back, and then still looking the way that he does and still marketing himself the way that he does, I think says a lot about his character. I know that, I think Ben recently had like a tryout with WWE or something like that. So I don't know where that's at, but I hope that they get signed somewhere because they've been putting in the work.
They deserve it. Yeah. They're doing exactly what the old heads did back in the day, but they've modernized it essentially. So they're hitting the towns, they're wrestling every weekend, they're putting out promos for every single company they work for. They're doing everything right. And so I think it's a matter of time. I truly believe that. I'm an optimist when it comes to people's careers like that. And it's a matter of time. It'll happen.
So how did that journey look for you in regards to your like wrestling training? For those that don't know, how do you even, like, where do you even start? Like if you are from Arkansas and you want to get involved in wrestling, do you just Google wrestling training? Like, and then who do you trust? How did that work for you?
That's exactly what I did and exactly what I learned. So essentially it was back in 2022. I saw Trish and Lita at Little Rock Comic Con. And that whole experience was just pure catharsis, because those two women absolutely raised me and morphed me into my, government identity and my wrestling identity. And so getting the opportunity to meet them, I had asked both of them, like, is this a safe industry to work in, like, as a woman? And they both just told me to go for it. Just go for it so you don't ask yourself in 10 years, what if? And that was valid enough for me to hop on Google later that night and search pro wrestling training near me. And I did find Diamond State, and that was in the Springdale, Tawnytown area. And so I connected with them and met David Hernandez, my main trainer there, and met some others as well. And so that's how I started my training, was late 2022.
And talking about those Comic Cons, we both got to meet Mick Foley. Isn't he the best?
Like,
I
I
love Mick
think
Foley.
not just the sweetest wrestler on earth, but
Damn.
genuinely the sweetest person I've ever met in my life. Because like, I didn't even like, I wasn't in line to meet him. I think I was
I
like,
saw your interaction. I filmed it. You remember?
yeah, no, I remember. Like, we were just like walking and just seeing like who was all at this con, and you know, Hardy was at the con, and I think there were a couple others, and then I was like, oh, there's Mick, and Mick literally flagged me down and like gave me his last Mr. Sacco, and it was so emo. Like, he didn't have to do that, and so it was a really cool experience for sure.
I saw that, and I mean, I love Mick for many reasons. He's outspoken against ICE. I love that about him, and then just he was just so nice. I remember when I went up to him, and I was gonna take a picture with him, and he wanted to do a selfie, and he had it on video, right? And I told him, I was like, hey, it's video. And he's like, oh, like he acts like if it was a mistake, and he clicks the record button. He's like, oh, I'm here. And he's like filming something with me that he didn't have to do.
That is so cool.
Right. And now I have a video with Mick Foley, and then I have a picture with him and with Mankind as well. So I think, yeah, that's one of the best celebrity or pro wrestler experiences that I've had.
Agreed. I concur that. That's incredible. Yeah.
You had the opportunity to interview Matt Hardy at an event in Little Rock a few years ago. That was a few years ago, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe it's been
it's
been
coming
a good
up
minute.
on 2 years this
2
September.
years?
Yeah.
How was that like? Because I know that you draw big inspiration from the Hardy Boys, and they're like big for you. And to have the opportunity to interact with them, and then to have the opportunity to interview Matt Hardy on stage, how was that for you?
Little girl dream come true. Because I mean, Team Extreme raised me. Like, those three are essentially part of who I am, and you'll see it translate with a lot of my character work. And then just basically being presented, not really last minute, but within a month notice, this crazy cool opportunity. It was just all of the questions I wanted to ask him on stage and off stage. It definitely put a lot into perspective for me about what this business really means and the longevity of it, because you got to think the Hardys are still wrestling and it's 2026 and they've put their bodies through some insane stuff, and they're both still in incredible shape.
I don't know how they can walk.
Exactly. No, I had asked Matt if I could borrow his leg drop at any point. He's like, would you like to be able to walk in your 40s? And I was like, okay, word. We're not doing the leg drop. And so we do the twist of fate now. And so, I mean, the whole experience was incredible. Because I don't think they realize they're celebrities sometimes. Like, they just are.
Bro, have you seen those TikToks where it's like top 5 best humans ever, and Jeff Hardy's always on that list?
Yes, of course. I mean, he is genuinely the charismatic enigma. I genuinely believe that he's always just, since like every story you hear about him being just so genuine and kind is very true. Because I got to spend that entire weekend at that Comic-Con with them, promoting like the evening with the Hardys that we did, and they just allowed me to be at their booth with them for the entire weekend, just to help promote the show, pass out the little flyers, and talk to all the fans that were coming through. And you could see how they were interacting with the fans, and I could also see how they were when they weren't interacting with the fans, and there was no difference in those guys. Like, they are genuinely who you see. And so that was super cool experience, and I hope to run into them one day again. That would be really cool.
You got to see the moment where I asked Jeff for a picture. I forgot if you took it. I don't know if it was you or David. One of you all took the picture for me.
The night low-key is kind of blurry for me. I'm not going to lie. So maybe it was me who took it. It could have been David. It
was a good picture, but I was like, I remember he was leaving, and I told myself, I'm getting this picture. Like, first of all, I'm going to shake his hand. Yeah. Like, it's Jeff Hardy. Like, as a kid, I remember TLC as a 6 or 7 year old, like watching the pay-per-view at my friend's house, because we couldn't afford it. We were poor. So I had a friend, his name's David, who his dad watched every wrestling pay-per-view, and they always invited me over. So like once a month, we would go over to his house. They would have pizza, drinks and stuff like that. And we would watch WWE. And I remember, just core memories of Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. So I was like, I'm getting this picture. So followed him for a little bit, asked. He was super nice. We did that. We did the little Jeff Hardy thing, Jeff Hardy sign. And it's literally one of the best pictures I've ever taken. Yeah. So I was so happy to be able to be there and to experience, seeing you thrive up there. And for me, I was like, it made me happy seeing someone kind of like live their dream in real time, And I can tell that you were trying to like contain your excitement when you were up there. You were
tough.
trying to play it cool, but I was like, I know you're marking out. You're like, I'm on stage with Matt Hardy right now.
I know, it was unreal. It was unreal and such a cool opportunity. And it's not lost on me. John Alba is the one who created that opportunity for me. So, he's the host of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. And so they kind of want to take that on the road sometimes and do these live recordings for live audiences and give people a chance to, do legit Ask Matt questions. And so once the Comic-Con announced that they were coming to Little Rock and that they were also doing that show, John told me that, hey, you live in Arkansas. I have a wedding to go to that weekend. I'm not doing it. And Matt asked for me because I met him at that Oklahoma City Comic-Con where we met Mick Foley. And so he had remembered that interaction. And so, yeah, that's pretty much how that all coordinated, and it was just so cathartic. So technically that opportunity was created and appreciated by John Alba. So it's all about who you know.
That, and I mean, you put yourself out there too. Like
It's
if
scary.
It wasn't because of you making your way to that Comic-Con and just you trying to build connections with people, like gotta give yourself some credit as well.
I appreciate that. It's scary, but it's worth it.
What were some of the takeaways that you got from the interactions that you had with Matt and Jeff? Like any kind of information, advice that you took from those interactions where you're like, I'm going to follow this going forward?
From a wrestling perspective, and just invest in your recovery is the number one thing. Those guys, like, they swear by ice baths and cold plunges and everything like that shocks your system to recover, which is what allows them to continue to wrestle at the age that they're at. And so basically Matt told me just to make sure you're listening to your body and make sure that you are genuinely investing in your recovery. So figuring out what works, whether that's massage therapy, chiropractic care, acupuncture, saying no to bookings so you can give your back a moment to rest, because what we do is very, very unnatural. Our body tries to prevent us from doing it every time. It's like when you take your first back bump, you automatically want to catch yourself with your arms because your brain is telling your whole body, no, we're not going to voluntarily fall on our backs. And so you have to retrain every muscle in your body to say, hey, it's okay, man, chill. And so that was the biggest takeaway, is like, he really drilled that: invest in your recovery, learn how to say no. It's okay to say no, and so from a wrestling perspective, and then from a personal perspective, I mean, he basically just told me to just keep going. And from hearing that from like somebody you idolized and looked up to really just means a lot, because he told me, you're doing everything right. You just have to keep going. And so I took that in terms of like a mental health thing, because there are times where, not just wrestling, but you have to think, anybody who is trying to live out their passion, there's going to be fatigue, burnout, times where they question it, imposter syndrome. And so hearing that from him, I took it on the, just don't give up. Don't give up. Don't let, depression can't hit a moving target. So keep going. And that's how I took it. Even though he could have meant it like 100 different ways, I took it more in the sense of, you just can't let the depression win.
So they were one of those instances where it was okay to meet your heroes.
Absolutely. I mean, I have not had a bad experience meeting any of my heroes so far.
Knock on wood. Is there some other folks that you're like, I haven't met you yet, and you'd like to meet them, but obviously you wouldn't know how they're going to be, right? But are there folks that you're still wanting to meet that you look up to?
Absolutely. Randy Orton being first and foremost.
By the way, you were supposed to tattoo his name on.
Oh my gosh! Don't hold that against me.
You said that at WrestleMania if he got eliminated, I forgot what it was. But
it was if Cody finished the story that first WrestleMania or something, which he didn't. And so, no, I think we had a bet. I was like, if Cody finishes the story, when Randy retires, I'm going to get a neck tattoo for Randy. And he didn't finish it that first WrestleMania. Terrible booking choice, but
For real though, for real. So do you still watch, you said you still watch wrestling. And I'm guessing you watch wrestling also to kind of just, learn, I think you learn something by seeing, right? By seeing how, wrestlers are wrestling in the highest platform available for pro wrestling, which is WWE, AEW. When it comes to your goals for wrestling, where's the ceiling at? Where's the glass ceiling? How far do you want to take this?
I mean, I think you have to be so delusional that you are forced to believe in yourself. And so any independent wrestler who sits here and talks to you today will tell you they want to be signed. I love my day job. My day job takes such good care of me. It fulfills me on a personal level. And so wrestling is something that is very, very important to me. And to be signed would be incredible, but to learn everything I can about it and then eventually pass that knowledge on to a younger generation, I think is where I'm leaning towards. Because realistically, I'm 30 years old. I'm still pretty green. This is my second year working. I just want to work with as many people as I can, working different styles, body types, techniques in different territories, getting all of that, all those reps in, and then just letting it play out. If I get a contract one day, that's incredible. I'm so grateful. But at the end of the day, I'm working in this for myself so I can become a better wrestler, a better entertainer, and become more profitable in my own way, in the sense that I want to make pro wrestling huge in Arkansas. It deserves to. This area, there's a need for it. The community needs this. And so if there is anything that I can do to make it happen, I'm going to. So I would love to eventually be well enough to confidently say I can be a trainer one day and get people trained up so they can consider this as more of their career path to be signed. So I'm just grateful for any opportunity I can get at this point in my career. But right now, I just want to get as much experience as I can, and that's my current goal.
So you've been with Diamond State, Mutiny, now you're with Razor Pro Wrestling. For those that don't know or haven't been to a Razor Pro Wrestling show, what can they expect when they go to one of their shows?
Something different in the sense that there is something for everyone and not a ton of repetition. So what I like about Razor Pro is that there's representation in more diverse culture. For our, big rebirth that we did, the 2 women's matches were great. And I'm not speaking out of bias. I'm speaking that we were able to represent people from different backgrounds, different styles of wrestling. And then we had everything from, big man versus big man to a fatal 4-way, which was incredible pro wrestling. Like, a tent won that match, mind you, like a tent, it's incredible. So like, there's something for everybody where it's family friendly, but you still get to see very quality pro wrestling. So when you think of the Attitude Era, yeah, we have a little pinch of that. When you think of the Golden Era, we have a pinch of that. But when you think of the Modern Era, we have quite a bit of that too. So I think when you come to a Razor Pro show, you're just going to see something different at every show you go to. You won't see a lot of the same matches over and over again, a lot of the same talent. We bring in different people for every show to, accommodate that independent worker mindset. And then while also utilizing our local talent to get them consistent reps with people who are very skilled in this industry. So it's literally been a win-win situation so far. And I think it'll continue to grow and be a massive, massive thing for the independent wrestling scene.
Yeah, so I feel like Razor Pro Wrestling feels different. And the people that are involved are great people too.
Yeah, let's plug them. Baxter, Crystal, and Ben, and David, my trainer, they are the core foundation of Razor Pro. And, I can say this on the record, and 3 years from now, the statement will stay very still. They are some of the best people I've ever met in my life. And I'm not saying that in the sense of, they give me a really cool platform to perform on. I'm saying that as in, if Ben notices my demeanor's off, he'll check in on me. Same thing with David. They care about the people behind the wrestling gear, and they've let it be known, because there have been times where I've mentally struggled, but I've never felt alone in the presence of any of these people. And so they are very genuine. Who you see is who you get.
That's good to know. I mean, I know that, but it's good for other people to know that are listening to this, to know that the company has a bunch of cool people really trying to entertain our community and do cool things. I've heard some stuff about things that are coming up. Can't talk about it here, but it's exciting, and I'm excited for what Razor Pro is going to be doing this year. So you've had several matches already at Razor Pro and some in Mutiny when you wrestled talents that are known nationally. You recently had a match with, is it pronounced Nixie?
Yes, Nixie
I
XS.
saw her correct someone on Twitter. So,
People always call her Nikki. I feel bad. It's the X is there.
I thought that's what it was.
No,
honestly,
brother.
That's what I thought it was until she correct. Obviously, I've never said her name, so this is the first time ever saying her name. But I saw her correct someone on Twitter. She's one of those people that does a really good job on Twitter, by the way. That just gives.
She draws great numbers on Twitter, and she speaks her mind, and it does really well.
And she's got a good look, and I feel like she's someone who should also be signed.
She's young, and so yeah, give it some time, but it could happen quick. Yeah, she's incredible, great worker.
So as someone who would say, you're still, like you said you were green, but like you're just starting, does it get intimidating to get into the ring with folks who have more experience than you, or how do you take that?
I mean, I've just really adopted the mentality of being a sponge. I think it's important to understand that you don't know everything, that there are 100 ways to do the same thing. And so fundamentally, like, it doesn't really have any kind of negative effect on me. I want to learn. And with Razor Pro, like, they're going to bring in people that I trust and that I want to work with and that they think would do well for this area. In other promotions, I have a hard time, like, not accepting a booking, but like, if I know the person I'm working, I'm like, you know what? Why wouldn't I do that? Of course. Like, that person can base for me so I can try some new things for, my in-ring work or maybe their character. I'm like, their character and my character, we could actually have some fun on the mic together. So, like, that's the thing with people who are more experienced than me. Please put me in the ring with them, because it's just going to sharpen me up, and it's also going to, I think it'll do great for, the things that I learn at other companies that I can bring back to Razor Pro and that I can train on with the guys in there too. So it's just nothing but a win-win being in there with experienced people. And it is sometimes intimidating, but like, at the end of the day, that's the person who's protecting your neck in the ring. Mm-hmm. And so if I ever get the sense that they wouldn't do it, then I'm just not going to wrestle them because it's my neck and I would protect them. But, so is intimidation aside, like, you just have to trust who you're working with, first and foremost.
So your moniker is the Outspoken, Anna Ray. Can you explain the character, Anna Ray? Who is she? Why does she hate bald men? Can you talk a little bit about that? Just for those that haven't seen you in action and character, yes. Who is Anna Ray?
So, the Outspoken comes from Russell Westbrook. So for those who don't know, Russell Westbrook, the greatest point guard of all time, let it be known, was the point guard for Oklahoma City for a long time. It's an anomaly how that big three of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russ never got a ring. And so I was watching his interviews one day while I was brainstorming a character, and I was like, that dude is pro wrestling. Like his facials, his mannerisms, how he carries himself, like his post, game interviews, how he handles the reporters. I was like, this guy could be a heel, but I see a baby face. Like, I see a white meat baby face here that is like very undervalued, very overhated. But he's not playing victim either. Like, he's accountable. He's like, yeah, that wasn't my best game, but could you do that? And so I was trying to think of ways to describe him. I was like, dude, he's outspoken. I was like, and I admire him for that. I really do. Like, he is probably one of my favorite, people to mold myself after because of the great things he does for the community. And so Russell Westbrook is the main inspiration behind Anna Ray. So, and then additionally, like, I do pull a lot of inspiration from pop culture. A good piece of advice that I did receive in the industry was try not to do what other wrestlers have already done. So if there's something in pop culture, your fans are going to have a better time relating to it if it's like, Sabrina Carpenter or something from a video game, as opposed to something they've probably already seen on TV, even if it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. So that said, I pulled what I feel like I can portray authentically. And then I just have kind of made it into a character as a good baseline that I think I can build off of that can play both sides of the ball. So
that makes sense. And how different is Anna Ray from your actual personality? I
love this question.
Yeah.
So there was an interview that Randy Orton did a while back that basically just said some of the best wrestling characters are essentially they're playing themselves, and they just turn the volume up to 11 or 12. So I guess the best way to answer this question is that one of those people went to therapy and the other one did not. So I guess that's left for interpretation.
Bane. So far right now, if you wanted someone to go watch one of your matches to get to know a little bit about who you are, who your character is, which one would you point them to?
Oh, geez. I've had some really fun ones. A lot of roads point back to the match I did at Atomic in Cocoa, Florida, with Casey Lennox, because I got to have a little bit of free reign. Started with an open mic, so I was able to showcase, my ability to speak. And then the actual match felt more like a fight. It didn't feel like a wrestling match, to be honest. Like it felt like a fight, and in a very safe way, by the way. But and like that was just the intensity that the promoter wanted, and I think that kind of shows a lot. So right now, I would say at this point in my career, that specific match. But I've had some really fun ones too, and I have a lot of really, really fun ones coming up as well. So yeah.
What would you say your style is in the ring? I see that you've been doing like a kind of like a flying DDT now.
That's the thing. I'm so green. I'm so green that I just want to try everything and see how it translates. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep the satellite DDT if I can have someone to base for me. But
I saw that clip that you went in the last one. That one looked pretty sharp.
Thank you. That was my first attempt on a live audience. I mean, we've trained on it a little bit, like at the facility, and as long as I have a good base, I think I can hit that one pretty good. So right now, my style is definitely leaning towards just right now brawler, but I do kind of want to try some high flying stuff and get over my fear of heights and just understand that I'm going to be caught. It'll be okay. So that's the hard part. But I think right now I'm still trying to figure out my best rhythm. But with a lot of my matches, you'll see a lot of brawling and some gymnastics, some stuff like that. So
you've been traveling more now. I'm glad your job has flexibility where you're able to kind of...
Dude, me too.
You randomly go to Florida and then you went to didn't you go to Chicago or something, Illinois or something?
Oh, not the cool part of Illinois, but but Chester, Illinois, which is right like an hour south maybe of St. Louis. So
you having fun doing that? Traveling?
I have the best time doing that.
I love road trips. I can just imagine
it's just you and the road, man. And I'm a girl with a Prius and a dream. So, it's cheap to fill up. And if you just go into autopilot, the time genuinely flies by.
You have a Florida show coming up too, right?
I do. So yeah, that'll be a fun one. That'll be a fatal 4-way, I think. So yeah.
I think you didn't you put out like a schedule of the stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, I'm wrestling.
You have a whole ass schedule now.
I have a whole ass schedule. So as of right now, I'm booked every weekend until the end of June. So I may have to take at least a week off in July to, reset, give my body a minute, take that advice that Matt gave me. But I want to be getting as many reps in as I can, going to as many different states as I can, and meeting everybody. I just I want to enjoy this while I can.
I'm guessing you want to do more stuff in Texas too, right?
Yeah, that would be cool. I do have
a lot of stuff over there, right? There's a lot of
There's a ton. I have a show coming up in Texas, I think in May or June in Cypress, Texas, I think. So I would love to break into some Texas wrestling for sure because the state is massive. But I just want to go everywhere. So.
And you've been traveling, like we said, to different states. Is there, obviously you would love to wrestle everywhere, right? Every state. But is there any indie specifically that you're kind of like, man, I would love to wrestle there?
Specific indie
that you can think of that you're like, oh, this is could be an attainable goal that you can kind of shoot towards, that you're like, I would love to have the opportunity to be part of a show for.
I will say, if you ask me this question about a year from now when I have more reps and more experience under me, I would feel confident in saying that I would be ready for a platform of Glory Pro over in St. Louis. I think they are absolutely incredible and they're doing everything right. And then GCW I think they are so much fun. Just those matches are a lot of fun to watch. JCW over
Juggalo.
Yes, hey. Juggalo. Their matches look really fun, and the card always just looks like really fun to interact with. So I would say those three. But once I get some more reps, if I were to take any opportunity now, I would have to just really be self-aware and all that. But like those are some of the top indies for me that I would love to be a part of one day.
You're an unofficial spokesperson for Go Pure Plank. Can you tell me? I think you told me through DM that it works for you. That
it does.
It's a good.
It really does help, especially like, I mean, not only just like working out your core, but also like stabilizing your back a little bit. And so like, with these long drives, your posture just slides and all that. I had to get a lumbar support pillow because of it. But one thing that really does help is the planking device. That I love it. I use it every day, at least for 3 minutes. And it definitely does just keep your core nice and like just... it's supportive, and it does help with your back and your posture, and it's honestly yoga to me. Like,
and it's just a few minutes, right, that you're supposed to use it?
Yeah, and you can do it however you want to. They have an app, and it shows you like different positions you can try that target different muscle areas, but it is a wonderful device. I try to take it with me to shows and put it at my merch table, so if anybody wanted to try it, they could. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Go Pure Plank. They're great. We love them.
I know I've asked you like 2 times about it. That's why I've been like, should I get it?
Yes.
It looks like it's like a.
You should. I'm pretty sure they're doing a sale right now, and if they're not, you can always use my code Anna Ray at checkout.
There we go. Okay. I'll send you this clip, Anna. Let's talk about Nickelback real quick. So I love Nickelback, right? One of my favorite songs of all time. Was one that I heard for the first time in 4th grade when I moved here from California. It was Never Made It as a Wise Man.
Oh, How You Remind Me.
How You Remind Me. I love that song. What's your top 3 favorite Nickelback songs?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I would say Far Away, and this is in no order because I really have to put critical thinking into this. But Far Away, Photograph, and then... Someday, probably. Yeah.
Those are good ones. I don't know why they get so much shit.
Oh.
Like what is it? Why?
Some douche canoe in the like early 2000s was like, Nickelback sucks, and they all took it and ran with it.
Isn't that crazy though? That whole culture, society.
It was between Nickelback and Creed. They got so much hate when we were kids, and then they suddenly became cool again. But the thing is, I've loved them my whole life. And one thing I've learned about just growing up and being an adult and learning who you are as an adult is realizing the things you loved as a kid are actually kind of cool, and you're relearning that. And that's how I feel about Nickelback. I'm like, you know what? These guys ain't half bad. Like,
Creed, My Sacrifice.
Oh my gosh, yes. Higher. It's one of my go-to karaoke songs. Are you kidding?
I remember that iconic, I think it was The Rock versus Stone Cold maybe? Or who was it? Might have been The Rock versus
It may have been Rock and Austin, but was it the My Sacrifice promo package?
Because I remember the core memory that I have in my brain is the My Sacrifice song playing, and then Mick Foley like falling from the Hell in a Cell. Like they used that in the promo.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was Stone Cold or like what.
Well, I remember seeing like Stone Cold, like that iconic, like where he passes out to Bret Hart's sharpshooter and there's like blood pouring down his face.
Yeah,
is that the one?
That one too.
Gosh, like that song goes over so many good promo packages. Like if you just highlight wrestlers' best moments and throw that song over it, like that's just a hell yeah moment.
Agree with that. What about like Bruce Springsteen? That's an artist that you're constantly listening to. What are some of your go-to songs or songs that you recommend for someone that maybe is not a Bruce Springsteen fan, but if you would like to convert them to his music?
Well, I think everybody knows a Bruce Springsteen song without realizing they know a Bruce Springsteen song. Some of his most popular ones are like Glory Days. You'll hear that at almost every high school graduation. I'm on Fire is probably one of his really most popular ones. Born in the USA, which is highly, highly misconstrued. But, so those are like, I think his 3 pillars. But my favorite song by him of all time and favorite song just in general is Born to Run. Just because I think lyrically it tells a beautiful story, and it's about getting to that, that metaphorical promised land, whatever that may look like for you. It's about the journey to getting there. And so if I'm trying to convert someone to Springsteen, it just depends on the person, because I think he's one of the best storytellers in music. And I love everything he stands for personally. Right now he is essentially giving a big FU tour right now to our current administration. And I couldn't be more proud to say that I'm a Springsteener through and through. And so there are some incredible songs that he's put out over the years. That biopic that came out recently with Jeremy Allen White, saw it in theaters 4 times, cried as hard as I could every time. Because
I still need to check it out.
You need to. I actually really encourage any man to watch it, because it really puts a big emphasis on men's mental health and childhood trauma, how a lot of it plays into it. So I could do a TED Talk on Bruce Springsteen.
You should.
I might. One of these days, if there's a platform, brother, I'm there. But to get back to your original question, any few songs to introduce Springsteen to someone would be Dancing in the Dark. There's a lyric in there that says you can't start a fire worrying about your little world falling apart, which basically tells you to control the controllables. You can't make an impact if you're worrying about the small things, And so another one would be probably The River. That's a really good album too. And then, Born to Run. Those are my go-tos.
So the work that you're doing right now in the indies, a lot of it, I mean, you are around a lot of people, but at the same time, it's also a very lonely, especially the road, right? Traveling hours to get to an event, to perform. What's pushing you forward? What's your motivation to succeed? What are you, and I'm not talking about oh, these are my goals in wrestling. I'm talking more about what do you look at, or people, it can be family, it can be friends, that motivates you to push forward and to take this to the next level?
I think we all have a little inner child that lives within us. And the little Anna Ray absolutely wants me to do this. And so it's almost about honoring parts of my childhood to see it through. I owe it to her, and I owe it to myself to see it through and do what I can to do the best I can. And so, those long drives where I'm just gosh, 3 hours till home, this is terrible. I'm no, I have to do this. This is something that I just feel programmed to do. It doesn't feel like I'm forcing it. It just feels like I was made to be on this earth to do what I do in my day job, which is help people. And then I was also made to do what I love, and I love pro wrestling. And I'm going to see it through until my body tells me to stop, essentially. No one else is going to tell me to stop. It'll be my body. So I'm just programmed to it.
Thank you for sharing that. One of the questions that we ask everyone that comes to this podcast is, what do you do to take care of your mental health?
I journal a lot. I write a lot, just between the long roads. I'll do a voice to text and then go home and actually write it out. But I do a lot of journaling, and I walk a lot. I firmly believe movement is medicine. And I genuinely believe there's just something about lifting heavy plates of metal a few times in a row and kind of making your muscles scream. I think it does something to your cortisol and helps release some of your stress a little bit. Or I will find someone to talk to. Total stranger will hear your story, and you never have to see him again. Or a good friend. I firmly believe in not doing this life alone. So, I mean, I have somebody who will crash out with me anytime if I feel like I need to crash out, but I also can regulate pretty well within journaling and movement, and just kind of making sure that I take that time for myself every single week.
Love that. Where can people find you on social media?
So on Instagram, I'm under its.AnnaRay. I think I'm under there on TikTok as well. Twitter/X is its_AnnaRay. And I think Facebook, I have a page that you guys can follow, and that's where I'll post where I'll be at. So whoever's listening to this, wherever you're from, I'll probably show up in your town one day.
Go check out Anna. She's wrestling all over. Follow her on social media, like she said, so you can keep track of her schedule, where she's going to be at. Definitely give Razor Pro a chance. I was there 2 weeks ago. Fun show. Good people. Good vibes. Definitely recommend it. I'll always be posting about it, so you can even see it on my social media of when they're going to be running shows. But Anna, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was good to just talk with you and just catch up a little bit. So
yeah, I felt like I haven't seen you in a minute. Like I actually had a conversation with you and stuff. So
honestly,
I love that we were able to have it on the air so that people can learn more about you. And just thank you for spending the time here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And for everybody listening, that was the end of episode 333 of the District 3 podcast. My name is Irvin, signing off.